put something in there. Guess not. Thought I did. Could have swore I put something there. Oh, where am I at? All right. Hey Sonia, how are you? Getting everything kind of sort of prepared here. I did not see my buddy on the day. I hope everything's all right with him. Hey Jessica. I'm just getting things prepared here. After. Hey Rosemary, how are you? I thought I seen the RV DJ in here. I could have swore I seen her. Anyway, hello everybody. Okay, we'll do something a little different today. Nothing really special effectsy or any little tricks of that nature. Yet another painting I don't do too many of. I really should, but I don't. And we're going to do a seascape. All right, there's the bird. It's not a Walmart eagle or anything. We're going to actually put a. There you are. Okay. I was just wondering. I don't remember seeing him pop on, so I was just wondering if he was okay. All right. So we're gonna start with the clouds. I'm going to go with a familiar color scheme that I've done last time that involved a wave and some birds. All right. We have, this time I bought some actual cad orange, or a little thicker than the cad orange hue that I used. We got ultramarine green, which is in between blue and green. Why can't I think of the name of this? That's because I'm not really, I don't usually use it much. I use phthalo blue a lot, but this is Prussian blue, which is darker. So it's cad orange, real cad orange, Prussian blue, ultramarine green, and titanium white. Not very many colors, as you can see. I might throw in some ivory black in there too. So I might as well slap that in there real quick. Put a little dot of it in there like that. All right. Okay. Yeah, my hand gets too close. The webcam gets a little out of focus. Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's get on to it. This is in a 12 by 16 inch canvas. I bought more canvas. I think it's 16 by 18 by 16 or something like that, or 16 by 20. This is the last one of the canvases of this size. But I think I'm going to probably stick with canvas boards, so I'm going to have to buy a big batch of them. Maybe tomorrow I'll buy some more, and we'll deal with these. I do have plenty of watercolor paper left, and I'm still going to use the watercolor paper for projects. But I think there'll be single projects like tree trunks or things like that, or maybe a lamp post or something like that, something that I can really do actual lessons on. Then I'll use those. Hey Madonna, how are you? Good to see you. So we're going to dip into a little bit of glycerin, vegetable glycerin, the gooey stuff here. Okay, and it's good for making clouds. I remember on canvas or canvas board I have, the glycerin it's not porous. The canvas isn't porous at all. What you guys probably notice I don't do very often is put gesso on my work. Technically I should, I just don't. Okay. I don't, it's not like it doesn't need it or anything. It's just I don't do it. If you want a smoother board, right? Because all canvas has tooth to it, all right, and you can usually see it, the tooth, and you can hear it, and you can feel it. Okay, but with gesso, once gesso hardens, you can take some light sandpaper and you can just sand it, and it's smooth as glass, if that's the route you want to go. Okay, like I say, I don't usually use it, so but you can, and I do have some here, you know. I just don't, like I say, I just don't use it. I had jars and jars of it, but it was so old it started getting flaky and crusted up and useless, so I threw them away. Okay, so I think here on the bottom I'll have it fairly bright, and then we'll work the bluish white clouds or whatever. I might put a purplish cloud to break up in between the orange and the blue. Okay, so let's get a little bit of titanium white. We'll put it right out here. We get a little bit of orange. We'll mix the orange and the titanium white together. Okay, this is a different type of orange, so it's a little heavier. All right, now if you put orange and blue together, it's apt to turn a little greenish on you. Okay, so just be mindful of that. I just want pretty much a thin line of orange here. Okay, and I'll just lightly just fade it out up here. Doesn't matter. And the amount of orange you're actually going to see for the sky is going to be like a little thin line of it, somewhere around there. But I'm going to put quite a bit of it on, just to, you know, just give me a little wiggle room, I guess you could say. All right. This project, I'm going to paint it in the way that anybody that's interested in doing it, can do it. All right. I'm looking at you guys' chats. Of course, I put my brush right dead into the black paint. Bound to happen, because, you know, it's just bound to happen. All right, I'll lightly kind of thin this out a little bit. I'm just kind of brushing it upward, and we'll just kind of fade it out of there a little bit there. As you know, the paint sits on top of the glycerin. The glycerin expands when it dries, so hardly any streak marks and all that fun stuff. All right, okie dokie. Let's get a little bit of blue in there. We'll how should we play around with this? I'll just let's take a fan brush. Actually, we'll use a fan brush today for the clouds. I'm choosing which fan brush really to use. I guess I'll use this big guy. I can't find the other ones, but it's okay. I'll just use the big one here. I'm just going to use just a little bit of just the tip of the brush here. I'll pull it out here. You guys can see it. I'll just kind of drag it out a little bit. All right. So we'll play with it up here. And we'll take it and we'll just kind of stir it around like this, skirt around with it, come down here a little. Okay. And come back up here in the corner. And go do a little play like that, a little bit, just like that. All right, and we'll see where that goes. And what I'm going to do with that, just fade it, play with it, and fade it out a little bit. We're going to take I guess I'll mess with it with this, and we'll stir it around, soften it up, and just once again just play with it a little bit, smooth it out. just like that. I'm wiping the brush off on my towel. A lot of the intensity, the darkness of the clouds we'll try to keep. Once again, it's just circular motions. I can press a little harder. The more you stay in one spot, the more it blends and smooths out. I'm looking at what parts need to be a little darker, a little lighter. It's okay. You'll get accustomed to doing this. It goes by feel and really what you're looking for, what you want in your formations. We're going to come out here, bring some of this down, further down, because I want it a little darker down below, and you'll see, because we're going to split the two colors up, basically. I'm just wiping the extra paint off the brush. As long as you clean it up, you're able to kind of fade in between the two colors a little bit. Okay, and just keep mixing. You'll be all right. Just keep mixing it. Once again, as you leave it alone, the glycerin will start to kind of expand and take the brush marks out. I still want a sense of movement, so I don't want them to take too many of the brush marks out. Okay. All right, so we'll keep it like that for a little bit. Let's go back. I'm trying to find a smaller fan brush. And once again, if I can't find it, then I'll use something else. I'll use one of these. These are kind of large. I'm looking for a smaller one. I do get smaller fan brushes, but the hairs on them are a little crazy and a little stiff, and I don't really want a super stiff brush. Let's take some of the ultramarine. I'm gonna dip a little bit of this blue into the ultramarine blue. So I'll mix it a little bit. Now when you got such a dark blue, you can use a little more of the lighter greenish blue in that blue, in the darker blue. Mix it up a little bit. Okay, and we'll come in here and we'll play with it in here a little bit. And what I'm doing is really you're giving another sense of depth in your clouds when you kind of do stuff like this. I want it a little darker up here anyway, and we'll kind of put it up there like so. All right, same concept. We're gonna blend it and stir it around a little bit. If I put a tad of brown in there, the blue will get a little bit on the gray side, and it will look kind of like really ominous storm clouds. I don't think that's really what I'm looking for right now. And then you just take it, and I'm just really concentrating on this other color, blue, and we can kind of see, you just mix it in. You don't want to lose all the intensity of that dark. Okay, so I'll make it travel a little bit in here, fade it, bring it down here a little. See, I can bring all that down here, bring it down a little bit lower. I'm just wiping off my brush and just shaping all of this. I'll bring some of this downward. Once again, you control how much of this you want down below. You control how blue you want it, how orange you want it. You control all of that. You can have a little fun with it, you know, just enjoy yourself. Now, I do have brushes that most people may not have. And sometimes I'll use them, but most times I won't, because most people don't have them unless they order them. I do have a hake brush, which not too many people have, but it would be interesting for you to get, beneficial for you to get. As we get down here into the orange, I'll kind of bring some of that orange up just a little bit. Fade it a little bit there. Like I say, I'm going to use some purple, and we're going to get a nice little block in between the orange and the purple. Looks a little streaky right now, and that's all right. We'll straighten all of that out. Trust me. We'll straighten it out. We'll tighten it up. Right now I'm just placing two different colors into each other. And you'll see what I'm talking about as pertaining to smoothing all of this out, okay? The Hake brush will definitely smooth a lot of that out. I'll use a small one. I'll use the 1-inch brush. Very, 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 very soft hairs. Clean it really well. Sometimes if they're too sticky and too tacky, you can always use baby oil and soften the bristles again. It doesn't take too long to do that. And little egg strokes, and just keep going at it. It'll smooth out. All of it will smooth right out, and you're basically just getting rid of a lot of the stroke marks and lines and such. The longer you do it, the more it blends. Okay. Depends on how much of it you want blended out. All depends. And remember, when it dries, a lot of those streak lines go away. Very light, very light. I'll put water in here, get some of that paint off of it. Very delicate hairs, so you do have to rinse it off. You can be a little rough with the brushes. Those hairs aren't going anywhere. Okay, let's get a little bit of, I'll use this brush. We'll get a little touch of white, a little touch of titanium white, only on the tip of a filbert brush. And we'll play here. Where these little mounds of blue is that here? We'll play around in there like this. All right, get a little bit more, just the tip of the brush, and we'll start adding little things up in there like this. All right, really simple concept to do them. We've got a nice little batch here. We'll kind of come up in here and bring it downward a little bit. And once again, I'm just using the tip of the brush. I'll come on in here a little. Up to you how much of this you want to use. Something like that. I don't want the white clouds to be overly bright. Then I'll take my trusty little brush, which I may have to get another one eventually, and I'll kind of softly blend them. Together. You blend as much of the intensity that you want in, as much as you want. If you don't want a lot of it, don't blend as much, really. Okay. All up to you how much of this you want in there. Once again, with the glycerin is always in movement, so be mindful of that. Be aware. Always in movement. If you feel some of your paint is kind of running away with you, just step back a little bit and just look at it, examine it. All right. Back to my 1-inch brush, and once again, just kind of tone things down. It's a very, very soft brush. In between the orange and the blue, I'm going a little harder just to soften all of that up a little more. Just like that. All right. Okay. Still want a little more life up top. It kind of corners in the actual painting itself. So I'm gonna kind of put that darkness in the corners a little bit and bring it in there. Thank you. That's good. Hake brush. Yep. H-A-K-E. Oh, what brush is in it? Here, I'll show you all 3 of them. Actually, there. Fatima. All right. There they are. Okay. 3-inch, 2-inch, and the 1-inch brush here. Okay. I bought them all as a set. All right. And it says what they are on the bottom there. Okay. 3-inch, 2-inch, and the 1-inch brush. All right. Very, 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 very soft. All right. Great for blending this stuff. You can use it with oil paint, acrylic paint, even watercolor. Okay. I've had mine for a while. And yes, I've used them, beat them down, abused them, and they're still there. Okay. All right. I want you to see something. As the glycerin starts to dry and separate, you get these things happening in it. All right. Then again, you guys are also zoomed up close, so you see all that little detail, all that stuff happening with it. But that's what goes on with it. Okay. When you put glycerin on there, I'm gonna go back to a filbert here. We're just gonna play around with some dark clouds. I'm gonna just go right into this blue. Keep forgetting what blue this is. It's Prussian blue, very dark stuff. All right, and I want to kind of seal some of that in a little bit, and I'll just come out here and kind of pop some in there like that. You can determine how much of this, let's do some here, how much of this you want to kind of block in. And I'm just tapping here. Maybe I'll bring this in a little further like that. And because when you do stuff like this stuff tends to spread a little bit, so you might not need as much as you figure you would, because once you start blending, it moves around. So keep that in mind. It does move around. Okay. Let's take the smaller brush. The smaller brush is a little tighter. The bristles aren't as long, so you might have to be a little careful trying to stir it around, because so you might want to just tap like that, lightly tap, and you see it does blend when you tap it in, because if you start to stir this stuff around, it's going to go into your paper. All right, see, I'll show it to you. See, starts doing stuff like that. So it's best to tap it and rinse off your brush. Because I don't want to lose all the intensity of the darkness, because I need that darker sky there. And you tap and travel. tap and travel. And I'm doing it this way because, like I say, the dark stuff does move around a bit. You might not want it to move like that. And I'm gonna use the hake brush again. See, I can bring some of that downward, down here. Okay, and we're gonna have a separation. So don't forget, we're gonna still separate some things here. In between this orange and the other clouds, we'll separate some stuff here. And as you see, I'm going around some of that brightness also, because I want some of that brightness to kind of hang around and say hi. All right. Okay. We'll take one of these, just another fan brush. Wider circles. Don't make your circles too small. Wider circumference circles. And you're just blending it out, smoothing it out a little. Because you can move this stuff around even with this brush, so just be careful. It's still a very, very soft brush. Don't want to lose too much intensity. But you see, it all kind of fits in, blends in. See that? You can go in whatever direction you feel you need to. And it's just me adding layers and layers and layers. That's all. Okay. Going back into my yellow orange, going from the orange up into the blue a little bit, just to bring them together. Boom. Okay. And then I'll just kind of go left and right, just kind of smooth all that out a little bit. Like that. Just smooth it all out. So you got that nice little gathering of white there. They kind of form themselves. Now what helps this look like this, one, is narrow here and it kind of comes outward, but you got that blue that's surrounding it. All right, the orange didn't disappear. Orange is still there. All right, but now you need more of a contrast to really separate that orange and white from the blue, and I'll show you how that's done. This will be a tighter cloud. Let's see, what do I have here? I don't have any purple per se. I should just make the purple instead of just using purple. So I'll just make the purple. I'll just use a little dot of red. All right. I'll put the red about here. Don't need too much of it, just like that. I'll get a filbert like I used before. We'll get a little bit of red. We'll put it right here. Kind of doesn't matter because that paint's dry. Get a little dot of blue, pop it in there, and we'll get some. Make our own purple. We'll make our own purple. All right. Now this is definitely purple. Okay, you guys can't tell. It looks black to you, but it is not. Trust me, it's all purple. We'll take this and we'll come about right. Oh, we'll come about maybe a little bit lower. We'll come down here and we'll bring it out like in this direction, maybe right about there. All right, as you can see, it is quite purple. And we'll kind of add our own little cloudy thing there. We'll kind of bump it up here. Like I say, this cloud will be a little tight. You kind of need a contrast between everything else, so we'll pop it in there like this. We'll have it kind of come up here and maybe out there like that a little bit. And we get a peak, then we'll just come on down, bring it downward. Painting on top of the bird, it's all right. I know you guys don't see too much of that because of the window there. My bad. We'll smooth it out a little bit, but not too much. We'll kind of play around with it there. Usually when I do stuff like this, I know I have to go over it a couple of times because it gets lighter as you keep rubbing this paint. It's all right. There's gonna be a lot of activity and everything going on with the water. I'm gonna show you how to do the waves where it won't be so painful. Okay. Something like that. All right. Okay. All of this will be sent back because of the bird. There. Hey, Marilyn. I know somebody was having a little trouble trying to contact me they were interested in the painting, and I don't know what happened, but I decided to just pin my email up there. That way it doesn't have to be done every time. So as long as I remember to do it, we should be all right. Okay, so we got that pretty much done. We're gonna go down below here. I'm thinking, yeah, the bird will be the last, and you'll see why in a second. But we'll come down here. As you can see, right here, let me make sure I get to the very bottom. I may have to pull back out a little bit. That should be good. Just kind of bring it up a little bit. We can center everything. Okay. All right. Let me clean this up because I don't think I'll need too much of this anymore. Now the paint doesn't take long to dry in here, especially when you thin it out like this. All right, and I'm just gonna scrape it away here, just like that. I can get rid of this too. Don't need this as of yet. Now you guys see a very odd angled line there. That's because we're not only going to do the ocean, but there's going to be a wave there, but not a wave like you would normally see, like one of those cresting waves. No, we're going to play with a little bit of perspective and such. I got to pull it back out a little more so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, let's put it right about there should be good. As long as you guys can see the top of the line here. All right, and we're going to peel this away. We don't need any of this now. This goes away. Yeah, you guys can barely see the horizon line. Now that little tip right there is the tip of the wing. That's important for the seagull. We need that. We need to have the bird, because that forces the perspective. Okay, that will bring the animal right up over the ocean. All right, and things going on. So that's why that tip is there. Okay, now that I know where everything is, I can bring this down a little bit. As long as you guys can see, I got to keep playing with it. I think we're good right about here. Okay, let's put the focus on. Let me get a little sharper for you. All right. We're going to tighten up that. Well, it's not really going to be too tight because it's going to be a bunch of waves there. We're going to get some action flowing back here. The main thing will be right in here. Okay, so we're going to get like a perspective thing going where the waves are really tiny, really short here, but they kind of expand and get a little bit larger. Obviously this is the main wave, but it's very, very large, so you're only going to see a fraction of the wave itself. All right, okay, so we will start to block in. We're going to block in the main body of the water here. Alrighty then, let's get a little bit of, I think I'm gonna go different this time. I'm trying to find my little trusty jar of glycerin. I got a little tiny jar somewhere around here. At least and there you are. There you are. Gotcha. We're gonna dip our paint into the glycerin instead of putting glycerin all over this. We're gonna do it the other way. We're gonna put the glycerin right into the paint mix. Okay. It will blend, but I got more control over it. So I'll put it right here. You guys should still be able to somewhat see that. All right, let's take the top off. Okay. Let's block stuff in first. I'll just use this brush for right now. This is just a 3/4 inch brush. We'll just use this. I'll dip my brush into some glycerin here. We'll put it right here where you guys can see it, and we're going to use a little bit of this nice ultramarine color. All right, and the glycerin mixed in with the paint. We're probably going to use a little bit of a little touch of blue in there. Just a little touch, just like that. Let me get some glycerin, and we're just blocking in the water right now. The waves and stuff, all that other action will come in a few. We're going to block all of this off right here, and we're just going to block it off. Try your best to make a straight-ish line. There's going to be waves back here, so it doesn't have to be super perfect, because we're going to have all sorts of stuff happening around in here. I'll block it in like that, and we'll bring it down. Once again, I'm just blocking in this stuff. Like I say, there's glycerin in it, but I got a little more control over it now. All right, a little bit of glycerin, put it in there with the ultramarine. Let's get a nice batch of it. Pop that blue in there like that. Okay, all right, and we're gonna really put it in there. Now, because I have more control over the glycerin and paint now, okay, see, I can just really put it in there. It'll remain a little bit on the wet side. It will dry quicker than if I just put the glycerin on the board first. But once again, after I block it in, I'm gonna show you guys. Once again, I'm thinking contrast, so it's a little darker here. You want to show off that orange. And with the paint mixed in with the glycerin like this, once again, like I say, besides more control, it's gonna dry a little faster than if I put the glycerin on the board itself. So we got a mixture of both blues, pretty equal mixed of both colors. Not too bad. And let's say you ran out, like I'm going to, and you might not mix the color right. It might be a little darker, a little lighter. It's all right. That's okay, because one, you're just filling stuff in. You're blocking it in. All right, you're blocking in the color first. Get a little bit more of that nice green color. A little touch of blue. You can have the blue a little lighter, a little darker, up to you at this stage. Because once again, you're just blocking it in. Okay. All right, we'll come on down here, block it all in. All right, I don't have to pay much attention to how precise that line is. It doesn't matter. We know generally where that line is, which is like right there. All right, don't worry about that. And remember, even though we're painting a wave up front, okay, it's not going to be the same color as what you're looking at in the back. All right, because remember, we're going to deal with a little bit of perspective here. Sneaky, but perspective nonetheless. But instead of seeing a straight line doing the perspective, you're going to use the waves themselves as your marker for perspective. Okay. All right. Okay, so pretty much blocked in like so. Let's bring this, can I bring this downward so you guys can, yeah. All right, so we got our wave is gonna be like right around in here. Okay, this is where you now will use the, let's bring this in a little more. And let's bring it more to the center and bring it out here like this. All right, now if I have to, I will make that bottom square disappear. It's trying to adjust. It's having a hard time. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, that bird is right in here. All right, but you'll see how close the bird will be. Now, if I got to get rid of this, I will get rid of that. It looks like I might have to, but you guys know what's there. I'll bring it back a little later. You guys already know what colors I'm using. We're gonna go with a smaller brush. All right, and we'll start putting in the action of the waves, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. Like I say, we're not going to go extremely super detailed because of, you know, time. All right, we'll still mess with this stuff here. It's got the glycerin in it, but we're going to use, as I'm looking at it here, what color do I want to use first? Let's use a darker color first. We'll go with the darker color. We'll just come up in here and just add quite a bit of it, as a matter of fact. This is a, well, size 6, but it's like a 1/4 inch brush, little tiny guy. Holes are very good. Okay, it's Jessica talking to you guys. All right, I'm gonna add just a slight touch of black in this because I want it, once again, all about contrast. Okay, so now we got black and blue mixed in there, just like that. And we're basically painting the underside of what will soon be the crest of the wave. So with something this dark, okay, we're gonna make little tight letter U's, but just, I'll put it down. I'll put it here. We're gonna make the letter U. All right, but we're gonna expand that. It'll be more like, kind of like that. All right, don't worry about none of that. You're not gonna see it anyway. All right, but we're gonna come way back here, and I kind of know where I want them, so we're gonna do the letter U. And because I'm painting on glycerin, just little touches. They will look like waves when I put the lighter stuff on there. I'm bringing it out. And you'll see as I do this, they get larger as we get closer. Anybody can do this because you're just really just, once again, just making the letter, a wide letter U. They get a little. Now as I'm doing this, I'm going to like stagger them a little bit. We're going to come out here a little, bring it back. Especially around the corners, it's a little deep. I'll make them a little larger here. In here, on this edge, we're gonna make them a little darker. And the reason why we're doing it this way, to make them this dark, because we're still establishing little bits of perspective with it. Doesn't seem like it yet, but we are, and we will. Come on out here, add a little bit in here. And if you see also what I'm doing, putting little trailing lines in there, especially up here. It gets a little dark all up in here. You're gonna make it dark like this in here because you got the bigger wave all in here. Okay, we're gonna go over there on the other side, and we're gonna do essentially the very same thing. We're gonna mimic what you've done over here. You're gonna bring it out here, very tiny. And you're, once again, what's important is the contrast. The contrast of that bright orange white. And it's very, very like this. Very soft, very small. I'll make this one come out a little more like that. Then we come back in here. This is always, the sides are always dark. It's what you plan to do with it once you get past a certain point. You can take as much time as you want doing stuff like this. Really dark, and they get larger. We're not really messing with the clouds up there. We're not messing with the clouds. We're not messing with any more of the sky. So we'll kind of, now they get bigger as you get closer here. You see all these little striations that makes them look like waves and stuff happening there. A little more solid on the corners here. Okay, much like that. Okay, let's go with our, I'm looking at you guys' comments talking about food. Coffee break. I'm just scraping off what I don't need right now. Let's go into our ultramarine. And I slapped some blue in there. I didn't want it, but that's all right. A little bit of titanium white in there. We're gonna brighten that blue up, bluish green. I have to be mindful of the size of the canvas. It's not very large. So just wiping the palette knife off real quick. Okie dokie. We will kind of thin this paint out a little bit. I'm going to use a liner brush for our little details. We're probably going to make this. I'm not going to use the glycerin. I'm going to use water. The water, I'll put the water right here. Yes, it is dirty. It's all right. You guys can't see that anyway. So let's move things. Let's kind of move things around here. Don't need the glycerin, so I'll put the glycerin right here. I'll put the water up here. You guys can see the paint. All right, just use a little water. Get the water a little, or get the paint kind of an inky consistency. You kind of have to play with it a little bit. I might need to have this a little brighter. Don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna come out here. We're gonna make, we'll bring it down to the bottom. I don't want to make it disappear yet. We'll bring it back to the corner. I should keep it right there, but we'll just pop it right back to the corner over there. All right. The brushes that I use for detail is conducive to the size of the canvas you have. All right, so you really can't do a lot of detailed stuff with a brush this big on a canvas this size, as you can see. Okay. It's like kind of like a brush like this, no good for a canvas this size if you're gonna do tiny little waves and highlights. All right, so you just have to go smaller, which will bring you more detailed results. stuff like this fella or this guy. All right, to get the details you're looking for. I can see right now that I might need to be maybe a little brighter, but we'll see once I put it on here. We'll see. But we'll start to add little bits of motion. Let's see. No, I think I might be able to get away with it. I think so. I think I might be able to get away with that. And this is just secondary. It's not the true highlight yet. But we're going to add, once again, you're kind of far away, so it's just cute little lines in there. Kind of crisscrossy. Okay. Very tiny, tiny little lines. You put them in there on top of your dark. Don't make them even, make them crisscross each other. And as you do it, you're going to get longer and longer. Okay, but right now I'm going right across. You guys can see that, yes. Right across here. Little touches here and there. You're not coloring the whole thing. And at this point, it's just little cute little marks. As of right now, they're very small. And you'll see as we go further and further downward, and you put some of them in here. Now, as long as I'm not in the way, you guys should be able to see this. Okay. I will dip often into the this is a rigger brush. It's not a what do you call it? Script liner. And I'm almost making them look like the letter Z's. Okay, I'm gradually doing this now. Of course, it's going to look kind of weird because you're zoomed up close, but I want you up close so you can see exactly what I'm doing and how this is being done. All right, believe it or not, I'm gonna need a touch more white, a little bit of water just to brighten it up a little bit. I'm still adding some of that blue in there. That's why you see me mixing back into the blue. It has to be seen just a little bit better. This is not obviously the total highlight. It won't be. And though you can see the color shift, all right, it's still not going to be the highlight, all right? Because remember, when this stuff dries, it dries darker. Okay, so I don't need it really super bright. And once again, I'm using a rigger brush, which is shorter. It doesn't have super long bristles. So a light touch will work with this guy. And we're getting slightly larger here. And I'm starting to curve them a little bit more. As you see, I'm using more of the brush. Okay. And you can. And because it's still wet, if you put something a little thick, you can go back over it again. It's all right. I'm using more of the side of the brush. I'm pressing a little heavier because I'm toward the front here. But you can start to see what's going on with it. Okay. The paint on the board itself is starting to dry. It's getting tacky. And when it's tacky like this, you can kind of be a little heavy-handed. It's still maneuverable. Okay. Just like that. And I'm putting more into the center because water is in constant movement, especially on the ocean. It's moving. Even when it's still, it moves. All right. The look you want is one of constant movement, and try to get it on top of the darker areas. Remember, you're up here is kind of tiny up here. Okay. And it's repetitive, as you can see. It is a little on the repetitive side. Okay. A little more water. I can feel my paint getting tacky, so just add a little more water. And you get a finer line if you use the tip more than the side, obviously. But in doing so, you need a little bit more paint. So once again, painting stuff like this, it also depends on your tolerance, on your patience. Now I'm painting also when I'm instructing, you know, I have to keep in mind the time limit too, because sometimes people skip over when you watch the video. They'll skip over a bit, but in skipping over, you might miss some important information that I might be saying, or whoever the artist is that's talking or instructing. Let's move this guy on the other side. Hey, Miss Southern Belle, welcome. How are you? If you guys pop on and I don't see you right away, excuse me, I'll see you. I'll glance down there and see that you're here. I enjoyed your unboxing video, your mailbag video you called. I looked at it. It was nice. I did look at the whole thing. Nice little gifts you have there. The stickers and whatnot. They were pretty cool. Once again, secondary color. Okay. And we'll pop them in there. And you're gonna see what I do with this once I get with the script liner. Okay. I'm just using the side of the brush now, popping in some things here. But now there's constant movement with your water. All right, things are flowing around there. Okay. But we're not done yet. Not yet. We will utilize the orange. We will utilize the orange. All right. Okie dokie. We're going to get us, no problem, Miss Southern Belle. Restaurant in space. Now, unless you in a restaurant in space, I highly doubt it, Jessica. Now, unless you count that food they're eating on the International Space Station. Blech. But that's another thing altogether. Okay, we're gonna use a lot more titanium white. We're gonna mix it right into this blue we got here. Really brighten it up here. This is just pure highlight. Okay, we'll just mix all of that together. And it has to be a little brighter than that actually, so we'll get some more titanium white there. And really brighten it up. Of course, mixing more paint just makes a bigger batch of paint, but I don't think we'll be neglecting all of this. Now, the brighter the highlight, the less of it you really need. You want to kind of center your highlights, especially when it comes to water. Okay, I think the reason why I don't do too many waves or whatnot is because of the time it takes. It all depends on what your eye sees. All right. Well, but here it is. This is it. Get some water and get an inky consistency. This is brighter than what we've used before. Once again, I'll get it bright, but not really too bright, because this is not really the focal point, more or less. All right. Very long bristles. Really fine lines. Okay, the finer the lines, the more upright you have to hold the brush. You got me? Okay. All right, this here, what you're gonna do, I can scoot up a little bit here. Once again, if you got the patience, let's make this disappear. You guys know what I have, so boink, it's gone. All right, you know what color I'm gonna be using exclusively, really. Now you can add this pretty much toward the center, if you would like. All up in here. As long as you use the tip of this guy, and you see how fine the lines are here, now you can really start to play here. And I'm going to. Look how fine those lines are. And you can really caress the dark areas of your, we're going to come here in the center first. We're going to kind of play in here. Once you start to feel your paint, your brush grab, it's time to get some more paint. But I'm going to really highlight the center here. And some of those secondary strokes that I've done, I'm going to put this bright color on top of those. We're going to bring some of this brightness into that dark, because it's going to highlight the tops of those dark waves. And this is how you get a lot of movement going. Now I'm doing it in this fashion so you guys can see, especially here on the top there. You can see how the light will affect all that water, and you can really sculpt how you want this stuff to appear, to look for you. So not only am I concentrating on the secondary stuff, it's almost like you're painting like small diamonds. As you do this, you can make the water as rough or as calm as you want. Little curve there, go in the middle of one. Like I say, they look like little diamonds. See this? If you can concentrate on making little diamonds, they look like little wave patterns after a while, if that's what you really want to do. Okay, and they get larger and longer as you get closer. Just like that. Now remember, you got some of the dark water back here, and they're getting longer, so I can kind of see this on the top there. You can really get into really marking this stuff. Just like this. Don't forget the secondary lines in there. And you'll start seeing these patterns in there. And you look at it from time to time. You see all this movement happening. Okay. And I'm just concentrating, well, I'm doing it on this side first, but this is still the background. I really didn't even get to the main wave yet. Well, thank you, Miss Southern Belle. Secondary stuff in here. You can take the side of your brush, all depends on you. You can take the side of the brush and you can roll it as you're doing this. It gives you a nice uneven line. See this? Have them bump into each other. I'll show you this way too. You take your line, or take your brush. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Take your line, go flat, and you just take it, twist it, and it gives you a nice all uneven stuff. You come here and you can kind of play around in like that, and that's all you're doing. You see the unevenness it's doing. All right. So you got some kind of just like that. Make it look as interesting as you want. Just like so. Now remember, you guys are like really zoomed up close. It'll look totally different once I zoom outward. You follow me? Okay. Looks totally different once it's zoomed out. All right. Okay. Since we're this close, let's take care of the bird. All right. I'm gonna show you that thing about perspective now. Okay. Let's take the seagull. The seagull's relatively easy to do. All right. And even the seagull's not really the main subject. It's just, you know, he's just there. Let's peel him off. I think both of theirs should come off. It didn't. That's all right. Let's just take him off first. Now this paint is not porous. The paint is still wet on top of this guy. Anyway, there's Birdie. Now if you see the tip of that wing, the tip of the wing is just, and it's only the tip right here. There. That little tip is all you need to put that bird right here. See that little break right there, that little tip? That's all you need for that bird to be in this plane and not back there. Okay. If that tip wasn't there, that bird would be back there somewhere. Believe it or not. As long as that tip of that wing is past that horizon line, all right, that bird has now came this far forward. If that tip wasn't there, he would be back somewhere near that black cloud back there, that dark cloud. Believe it or not, yes. Okay. Well, reading Miss Southern Bell's comment there. All right, we can smooth out that little bit of. Now, when you're this close, I mean, now this paint's still wet, so I'm just very gently just gonna kind of move this around, smooth it out a little bit, and get rid of what I put there. That was probably my fingernail or something. Yes, this paint is still wet. Be careful. I'm just smoothing out a few areas. All right. All right. Okay. Let's paint this guy in real quick. We'll start out with a little bit of, we'll mix this blue and whatever color here. We'll just put that in there. I'm just blocking in the bird right now. Let's pull this. I pulled the brush toward me so I can get a nice wedge. And we're just, once again, we're just blocking this guy. Why am I blocking him in blue? Well, I can block him in blue, block him in black, it doesn't matter. The bird's in white, so we're gonna play around with the tones and colors and such. But right now, block him in. Just blocking in really the shape of him, the tail feathers back there. When you do it like this, the birds or whatever animal you use tends to grow a little bit because you're painting a little touch outside of the line, so he doesn't look too much like a cardboard cutout. Pop in a little bit of that beak right there. Okay. And once again, I'm just blocking this fellow in. Block him right in. Just like that, to block him in for right now. All right. Okay. I'm gonna take a smaller brush, and then we'll add in little bits of white or so. Okay, well, let's go with a little bit of white. We'll put the white where. Can you guys even see that? You guys can't see that color change or what I'm doing here. So let's pop this back. Since I'm working with the bird, we'll put this over here. We'll put it up by him. Okay, so we got a little bit of white. We're gonna get a little small touch of black. We'll just make it a little grayish. But we're gonna get it a little lighter gray. Just add a little more white, just basic gray here. Gray is a neutral color. All right, which means it's color friendly. You can put all of the colors in gray. Okay, we'll just come up under here, right under his little head here, where his wings would be, which is up around in here. And we'll just add some of that in there. We'll add a little bit of that back here by his tail feathers here, just a little bit. All right. I'm debating whether I really should add that over here. I don't think so. I think the blue will be fine. Actually, let's do something here. Right here, where just past his back. And then I'll put it here on the front, on the leading edge. I'll put the gray here. And then I'll just blend it in with the white. And you'll see as I do this what I'm talking about. Okay, don't have to go super detailed with the bird at all. Let's go with white. We'll put the white right here. Okay, I'll add a little water just to loosen up. This is, I use heavy body acrylic paint. Grumbacher is the brand I prefer. All right. Okay, and we'll start adding very lightly. Now this is going to mix in with the blue that I have on here. Yes, it will mix in. It will blend in. The more I stroke, the more it will blend in. Okay. This is not an Audubon detailed version of a seagull, but just enough of the seagull just to show you that it is a bird, at least, that's flying here. Now it's blending in with that blue, so it's not totally bleach white, and I don't need it to be at this point, not yet. As you see, little small taps just to blend that gray into the white a little. Okay, and I'm just blending it a little bit into the blue, just a little, like so. Besides wiping paint off the brush, I'm just adding the colors into the bird, right into the gray, right in there like that. The gray is mixing in with that white, like so. It's a little darker on the other half of the wing, but we're gonna capitalize on that in a few seconds. And what you do really to bring the bird out in front is you just make the body whiter than the rest of the bird. Well, here on the wing, here on the back here, it is the wing, and so obviously we'll brighten this part. I don't really have to add any detailed feathers. That won't be necessary, but I will add the white to the bulk of his body. Up in here. Okay, especially around his back. Trail it a little bit. Like so. if you want some semblance of feathers, just a couple of little dabs here and there. But you know, seagulls got those long wings. Okay, I want the white a little heavier on the tip here, just to let you know that he is over there. Okay, all right. I'm just tapping in some. Doesn't have to be as bright because it's still the other part of this guy's wing. Put it in there like that. Okay, let's use a little bit of this orange, I guess. Concentrated orange right there for the tip of his beak there. How about that? All right. Okay. Oh, a little touch of black. We're gonna give this guy, even though he's super tiny, it's all right. We give him an eye right in there. Yes, you give him a little dot for an eye. Yes, you can see that. Okay. Maybe he get a little ring of, just to show roundness to the bird. Give him a little, and maybe a little ring or something right there on the tail part there. Okay, we'll put a band on him on that edge. All these cute little things. One, it just helps bring the bird back to the front there. All right, so he's definitely there. You don't have to make him super detailed. Everybody knows it's a bird. All right, a seagull. All right, and he's up front. He's like right up there. Okay, I can take some of this. Let's see what we got here. We'll take some of this lighter blue. And we'll just, you guys, yeah, I'll put it here where you guys can at least see it. No, it needs to be a little lighter. So we're gonna mix it in a little bit, make it a little bit brighter here. No glycerin, I'll just use regular paint, a little thicker paint. We'll come here and we'll put some smaller fellas in there like that. Now the glycerin might expand this guy a little bit, but it's okay. We'll put one right across the cloud there, like that. And he's coming this way, a little larger. Might have to make him a little brighter. That's okay. Add a little more white to him. Okay. Actually, I'll just kind of scrape it, go in reverse. And what I'm doing is actually just taking the paint off the canvas there. Just like that. And we'll scrape some birds there. Just like that, scrape them. We'll get some darker blue, thin it out. Every time you do stuff like this, even though they're around the same area, thin that out. Now remember, this glycerin is still on there pretty wet, and the paint I'm putting on there is like on top of the glycerin. So if it doesn't take it, it's all right if it doesn't take. But putting them there in different colors actually makes them either look closer to you or further away. And it depends on the size of these guys. Put one right here. Okay. And we'll put somebody up this way like that. We'll put somebody smaller way back there. All right, but you see how it's starting to look here? See that? So you got different colors of birds representing different distances, but they're back back there somewhere. I can take a little bit of this white, well, bluish white. You pop a couple of small ones way back here. You gotta add all sorts of little dimensions and stuff to these fellows right back here. Some you'll barely see, some you'll see really good. All depends. Right. The way the camera's placed, you guys don't see some of them fellows up there, but there they are. Okay. So it's really up to you how detailed you want to go, how much you want to do to it. Okay. Really your choice, your decision, how much of this you want. Up to you. Up to you how large they are. Everything's up to you, really. I'll put one kind of up here, just kind of chilling way up there by himself, like that. I don't necessarily have to have him over the whole page. Maybe, you know, he's the pack leader, who knows? All right, okay. All right. As I'm looking at it here, I can probably kind of, once again, wisp away some of those. There. All right. Okay. Let's pull back a second and have you guys look at the whole thing so far. So this is what we got so far. I think that's good enough right there. Let's put the focus on it here. All right, that's what we have so far. Okay. Now, you got water movement here. You got your little orangey sky. You got the purple cloud. It's really separating that blue from the orange there. Okay. And you got your cloud narrow coming out that way. You got different colors of blue going on in there, and it's just not a still static color. It's everything's kind of moving around. You've got, now just because I established this fella, your mind's eye is gonna think all the birds back there pretty much look like this guy, and all you did is paint one. Okay, so now you got a little bit of life into your painting here. All right. Let's aim this down here. All right. Now remember, we kind of established our wave back there. I don't have to have it super bright or anything because the main focus will be pretty much this guy right in here. Okay. All right. Let's see, what do we have for colors? We can probably mix a lot of that in there. I think this is already dry, and if it is, we just scrape it away. There are some things that are dry already, and so we don't need, obviously, to play around with dry paint. So I just scrape it out of there. No big deal. Okay. Leader of the pack, huh? Yeah, I remember that song. All right. Establish the larger wave. To bring the wave up front, obviously, it's darker. This is a different type of wave. It won't be the one that crests over. Okay. This wave here is kind of like in the beginning where it kind of peaks. Something like that. Okay. All right. So let's mess around with the body of the wave first. Let's go into a little bit of let's move this back over here somewhere. Let's get this out the way. We'll use we'll use we'll use this brush. It's all right. Long handled 3/4 inch brush. Okay. Once again, we're gonna do what we did with the. I'm dipping my brush into the glycerin right in here. I'm gonna use some of this darker blue. We're gonna pop it in there like that. All right. We're just gonna block it in for right now. A small touch of black in there. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna bring this. We're gonna bring it down here a little bit. We're just gonna block it in. And once again, we're just blocking in color. I got glycerin in it. We're gonna need it. We're going to need it. Just block it in there. Now watch what I'm going to do with this. All right, we need more color of what I don't have, but we're gonna get it anyway. We need some more Prussian. Yeah, put that in there like that. Because the wave is going to be in a series of. We'll just use a Prussian blue here. A little bit of glycerin, and we'll put it right here. We have to separate that for a second, just like that. Get the glycerin in the paint in there. It's like that. Because this is kind of mixed with a little black. This is going to appear a little darker, and it's fine for right now. We're going to mix it right in there. Pop it in there. Remember, it's got glycerin in it. Okay. We're going to use some more of the black and the Prussian right in there. Get some glycerin. Put the glycerin right in that paint, because we've got to blend these two together. Okay. Right down here. Right down here. It's fairly deep here. Okay, and you're gonna lightly blend both those colors together, blend them in together like that. Once again, I'm still blocking it in. Okay, just block it solid here. It melts into that blue in here, like so. Okay, all right. Just wiping off the brush real fast. Water and glycerin, not good bedfellows. Water cuts through this stuff like a hot knife through butter. All right, be mindful of that. We're gonna strengthen up just a pure blue here. Get a little touch of glycerin. Glycerin just thins the paint out. What glycerin does, it does not change the color. It doesn't make it lighter or darker. It just makes it actually more transparent. Okay. So we need some more of this blue, believe it or not. Okay, we need we'll use some of this light stuff, this baby stuff, baby color stuff. We'll put it right here. It's mixed in with glycerin. I try to separate it. We're gonna come right in here, halfway, get it in there, get it in there, get it in there, put it in there, just like that. And we'll fade it right into that blue. Back and forth, back and forth. See how the glycerin blends this stuff seamlessly together? See that? Okay, still wet. All right. Still wet. Still wet. Just like that. Put it right in there. All right. Let me show you something. I'll just clean this brush off. I should use a whiter brush, but I'm not going to. Remember, this stuff is still wet. So you can still manipulate it and still move it. Okay. Right now you just got stripes of color. Okay. We'll go this way. We'll go right from the top. And we're gonna do the letter C. Like this. Okay. Just be careful. We'll do the letter C. And I'm going down, bringing the light color into the dark. So I'm gonna just wipe it all off. Because if I don't, you're gonna get that. So you gotta wipe it off. See, that's what you're gonna get if you don't wipe off the brush, that. This is where if you use a whiter brush, it would benefit you more, but I'm all right with this. It's okay. Don't worry about it. The striations won't be there. Don't worry about the striations. Okay, this is, once again, if you use a whiter brush, it would benefit you more. Okay. Once again, the size of the brush conducive to the size of the palette. Let's use my go-to brush, the 1.5 inch guy. All right. Now you see what I just did here. Go in reverse. Bring that dark into. You see a whiter brush? You see the difference it makes with a whiter brush? Okay. Just like that. Now I'm gonna take that same brush and gently back and forth. Look at this. It kind of fades it into the wave a little bit. Obviously it needs to be darker here, but we'll get to that. In here you can kind of, well, you can't because there's no glycerin there, but we'll fix that. Down in here it needs to be a little darker. We'll just go back into our blue black mix. It needs to be darker where? All in here. It needs to be deeper. So let's go back into our blue, go back into a little touch of black in there, stir it up with a bigger brush, and you just want this has to be dark. You see? And don't make it even. Maybe it's heavier up here and a little lighter here. And just keep adding that dark in there. And keep the curve. The important thing is the curve. Keep that curve in there. You got to keep the curve in there. All right. You follow me? Got to keep that curve going. All right. All right. It's going to get real interesting in a second. Let's use our long-handled brush again. We're going to take our glycerin. Let's get rid of something. Let's get rid of some of this. We'll get rid of some of that black too. I just need an area. All right. Okay. Once again, any one of you guys can do this. Get a little bit of orange. Ooh, wow. We don't got much white, do we? Looking a little sorry here. As you see, I'm very sneaky, double loading the brush. I think you guys can see that. You get a little glycerin, a little touch of glycerin. Okay. Back and forth. All right, I'll just turn the brush over. All right, right up in here. Right up in here, we'll kind of, actually we're gonna have to, I'll show you. But right up in there is where the color's gonna be. I'm gonna need some more white because I gotta cover up those marks I just did. And that's fine, that's no problem there. Just a little bit of white. Titanium white covers death, so don't worry about it. Right in here. We'll cover all that up there. It's all right. Put it right in there. Don't worry, we'll get some more. Right in here. Put it right in there. Just like that. Don't worry. Just like that. All right. And then take the same color, very light, because we still got that glycerin down there, and you put it right in there. You see how you faded in there in that blue? Go back and forth. Keep going back and forth. Just like that. All right. Isn't that pretty neat? Yep. Continue that circle. Almost meet it right into that black there. Depends on how much you want it to kind of flow in that direction. We'll have it meet in there like this. Keep playing with it. Keep playing with it. Don't worry about the striations. All right. Oil paint. Yeah, linseed oil is another one that they use. But yeah, it does carry a pretty powerful odor. Your paint, super vibrant, looks great. But yes, that odor is quite pungent. It is pretty strong stuff. All right, you see what it's starting to resemble, starting to look like here. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm sneaky. I still want it a little deeper. Let's get a little touch of glycerin in there, both sides. I'm going into that deeper orange. This is a deeper, stronger orange. All right, and we're just gonna play with that orange a little bit, right up in here. Put it right up in there. Back and forth, back and forth. It's just me really playing with this deeper orange. I just want a stronger orange tint in there, back and forth. Okay. And it's just me once again just playing around with that deeper orange. Okay. And I can kid around with it with a little bit of white. I get some glycerin in here and kind of do that back and forth thing here. And we'll lighten it up right at the top here. It's got the glycerin and I'm really putting it in there like that. Get some more white. Now there's glycerin already on the board, so we play with it there. Put it right in there. Really up top here. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm going across. It's all right. Bring some of that down. Not all of it. Just bring a little bit of it down there. You get to really play with it. Okay. Go back to the larger flat brush. And really, I'm just playing around with it. See, I can go backwards. See this? It's all right. Go backwards. Bring those striations of the dark back into the... See, you can go back and forth. Okay. Up to you of how much of this you want to. Make sure you clean that brush though. You don't want to bring that dark from the top going down, of course. And you just kind of... Now, it gets easier and easier as the paint starts to settle and starts to dry a little bit. You're just kind of having a little fun with it. And once again, you can do the X strokes. Once you do the X strokes, you're just really blending this stuff in. Okay. You can take it and curve it if you want more of a curve. And I want more of a curve, so I'm just bending everything. More of a curve. All of it, the secret is in the curving of the pattern of the wave, which way you want this thing to go. Okay. Getting a little bit of blue. Getting a little touch of black. We're going to strengthen up that darkness down there. Get a little touch of glycerin. We're going to loosen up this paint. And once again, going down here. And just keep going with it. The striations are what you're looking for. Pretty deep down there. Get those curves going up there in it. And once again, you're just really playing with how far you want the dark to appear. Then lightly very lightly just fade some of that in there. And you can keep going back and forth with this as many times as you need to. Okay. Like I say, this wave is cresting fairly well. Okay. All right. As I'm checking it out, looking at it, let's sneak in some really bright color. Go into I'm taking a flat brush, going into more white, into the glycerin here. And right up in the top here, right in the top edge, right up here. We're gonna kind of make a little line up in here, right up top here. Little bright, on the bright side there. Up top here, right up in here a little bit. Okay, clean off the brush real quick, real good. And you take it, that little bottom part there, and you kind of tap it in there. Make it kind of gradual. Bring some of it downward. And you're just playing with the top part of the wave where the sunlight is coming through. Just make it a little darker. Continue that little curve. This is where you start just building up the highlights right up in there. All up in here. Just make it brighter and brighter. You may have to go a little bit larger than you want. That's because you still have a little shadow up here. And I'll put that in and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm bringing some of that foam downward. We're going to do the rest of that with a smaller, thinner brush. But right now I'm just really building up those highlights with just pure titanium white right now. Because it's being contaminated with the orange down below, so it's not totally white. Just keep playing with it there. Keep playing with it. Come on down with it. Drag some of it down, not all of it. Just like that. All right. Okay. I'll take this little fella here. Remember this little guy? And we'll just kind of play around with it. Almost gives it a blended, misty, glowy quality to it. Just kind of tap it in there. See? Okay. All right, real soft like. You take your big old brush. Remember this big guy? And lightly, look at this. Just blend it. Blend it in there. Okie dokie. Let's clean this off. We're gonna take that same flat brush. And now we're going to do something that might be deemed a little crazy. Get a little bit of dark, a little bit of black. We'll put it right in here. Get some of this nice deep blue. Pop it in there like this. This might be a little nuts, but it's all right. We're up on the top here. And we're just going to kind of scrub it up, scrub some dark in there. Just like this, scrub it right up in there. Scrub some dark in there. Don't make it even. Something like that. Scrub it in there like that. Scrub it in there. You can bring some of that down. Very lightly though. Or just use your finger. Don't matter. Some a little longer than others. Put it, see, all of it benefits you because you're selling that curve. Okay, like so. All right. Okay. let's play with, I could use this, but I think I'm gonna use the script liner brush. This is another fun part to do. Let's get some water. We'll play around here with this orangey stuff. We get some plenty of white. We'll put the white in there. We'll contaminate it with a little bit of orange. Why not? It kind of matches, put everything together a little bit. All right, we'll come in here with this. All right, we get a little bit of water. This is where people get a little intimidated. We're nearing the end of this. All right, okay. Let's start with one. See this curve in there? See this? Take your brush. See that? And you go around that curve, and you keep that curve going like that. All right, that's one. Maybe you want more of a curve or whatever. Come up here. See that curve? Follow that line. You can come out here like this, but the trick to it is you got that curve there. Take your line, take your brush. Okay, take your brush and go sideways. Twirl it around like that. And you got something coming this way a little bit. All right. Right up in here, kind of curve it around like that. So you got all sorts of interesting things going on in here with it. Kind of curve it upward like that. Get to some more. And once again, just kind of some of it's thick, some of it's thin. It doesn't matter right now. See? All right. Maybe you have one kind of coming across like this. All right. But you see what it's starting to look like now? You get all that foam going on there. See this? Use the side of the brush, roll it. I'm just rolling the brush around like so. All right. But you're following really the curve. You're following the curve of your wave all in there. Okay. It goes across. Some of it goes across like so. Make it as detailed as you want. All up to you. You don't have to add the little trails like I'm doing. You don't have to add all of that. Not if you don't want to. Up to you. You can keep them pretty dark. Okay. I'm adding them in certain spots. You don't have to. All depends on how active you want the wave. Really. All up to you. All up to you. I know it looks crazy that I'm fading it like that. But once again, you want to add movement to it. There you go. All up to you how much of this you want, how much movement you want in it. You can always kind of fade some of that out. Bring that color, let the color meet up into it. Okay. Hey, what's going on, bro? Well, you go ahead and be a good husband, brother. We are temporary. Go ahead, be that good husband. It's good to see you, man. Okay. Let's get a little bit, of, we'll go into the blue first. I know I got white in here already, but we'll go into a little bit of blue. I'm using a very soft bristle brush. All up in here, you get your foam going. All right, I'm just kind of just fading it and playing with it all up in here. And you know, you get have a little fun with all of this. So we're just kind of popping the dark stuff in there. Make it uneven. Some of it's high, some of it's low, some of it's, you know, up to you how hard you want this stuff. Okay. Make it really interesting. Some of it's bigger, some of it's not. All right. Let's go with a little bit of this orangey stuff. And then we'll just kind of pop it in there. It's almost like you're doing clouds. See this? Just here and there, pop them up in there like that. Come down in here a little bit. Bring some in here. Come up above. Twirl the brush around. I mean, you don't necessarily have to use this type of brush. Use whatever brush you feel comfortable with using. Okay. Some of it even comes down in here a little bit. Pop some in the corner there. Just like that. I'm just cleaning off the brush real good. And we're just gonna kind of blend a little bit. Very soft, just very touchy. Just blend some of that in there. I don't want to kill all the intensity there. Just something like that. All right, all right. Okay. Let's take a I'm trying to use brushes that everybody has, so I guess we'll take a little fan brush. I'll take a little tiny fan brush. We'll deal with this. Let's I don't need all of this stuff. Let's get rid of a lot of this. Like I said, we're getting toward the end of this, so I can get rid of a lot of that I don't need here. So let me clear this off. Some of the dried colors, some of the colors kind of dark. A lot of it we don't need right now. Basically just clearing off a path. We don't need any of the blue. We don't need none of that. Okay. We'll use a little bit of we'll use this white. I want to do it in a way where this is approachable for everybody. Okay. All right, just straight white. We'll come up here, we use just the corner. Now, make it like you would make the clouds up there. All right, so you know where you got your top part here. See this? And go in a roundish type of shape here. Add some of that love right up in here, like this. Okay, get some more. Keep it very bright. We'll kind of add some here, just like that. Put it up in top, up here, kind of. All right, we're coming down here. When you come down here, you follow the path of the, we're gonna need some more white. Follow the path of the wave, okay? And we come up here, add some of it in here. I'm just twirling the brush around in different little spots here. Some of it comes down below. Not all of it, but some of it comes down below. You're really concentrating on movement right now. Some of this will be smoothed out, some of it will not. Now you get to where it's just a lot of action. How violent do you want your wave? Okay, obviously your bright spots will come up top. Okay, because that's where the little bit of the sunlight or whatever is hitting directly up on top here. Keep it kind of rounded if you can. All right. Come up here. Now up here in the corner, we'll really add some craziness up here. We'll round it off a little bit. Like I say, some of this will be smoothed out, some of it will not. add some bright stuff up around in here somewhere. Curve it around. Remember, add some love down below here. Kind of curve some of that right off the page if you must. All right. Pop some of that in there. All depends on how much, once again, how much action you want. Get a little bit of striation lines going here. All depends on what you, once again, what you're looking for. How you want this to look. Like I say, some of this will be faded in, some of it will not. Some of it will blend in. All up to you how much of this you want. Fade it in. It's your world. Do what you need to do. Do what you want to do. I'm still looking at what you guys are saying there. So we still got our glow going, the orangey type of white thing happening. All right, very deep all up in here. Everything still matches. Still part of this scenery. Okay, you still got a little bit of life. You got the gull here, and then you got the other ones back there doing their thing. All right. Let's see what else. I'm still thinking. Well, we can put some splatter up here also. But before I do that, let's take the tip of this brush here. This is another filbert. I still want to add some. Some body to some of this here. It's just a little bit of, there's some brightness in here. Only in certain spots there. Fade out what I don't want. Just a little bit. It's all according to your taste and what you want to see once again. All right. Okay, let's clean this off. Did I clean it off? No, I did not. Okay, we're about at the end here, guys. Because we're at the 2-hour mark for this thing. All right, let's get some splatter going and we call it a day. Get a little bit of white. This is a hog's hair fan brush. Very stiff hair. All right, and we'll pop in some. I like to pop the splatter in. Make it bright, make them a little larger so they can be noticed and seen. Bring some into the wave down in here. This is just another element of your painting. All right. Come up into the clouds a little bit. It's a big wave. Come down below a little bit. Doesn't have to, it's just crashing. So it doesn't have to hit a rock or anything. It's just the volume and the weight of water. It does it on its own. It's gravity taking control there. Okay. All right. Let's take off the, I don't think the, this blue tape is gonna hold back the glycerin because it does like to seep through tape. It doesn't seep through Scotch tape very well at all. Okay, let's pull this back. Let's get rid of, well, no, because I want to show Jessica one more time, if she's still watching, that you don't have to, because if you keep scrubbing too hard, you're going to develop giant Popeye forearms, and I don't think you want that. That's just not a good look. Not for a lady. All right. Let's clear some of this. Actually, I can dump this water. Let's put this over here for right now. Let's dump this. I'm thinking here, yeah, I can dump this water. Let me dump this. I have a large bucket here on the side. All right, let's switch the camera 1 second. All right, so we got this stuff here. All right, actually, let's just get rid of, we'll bring this back. All right, Jessica, anybody else who might use one of these, okay, if you have extra paint like I do, all right, you just take it and just get rid of it. All right, I'll just dump it away or put it in the towel or something. Just you know, get rid of it like that. If it's loose enough and wet enough, you just scrape it away like so. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I personally would prefer rubbing alcohol. It gets rid of this stuff a lot faster. Okay. And I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna just let it sit here for a few seconds. All right. I don't have to drown it or anything. I won't use the palette knife. I'll just use a paper towel. Okay. All right. Just use a paper. Where are you? And I'll just use a paper towel here. All right. And then you just take it, and you see that? You see what's going on there? It will wipe off. It'll go away. See? Flip it around. Try part of the paper towel there. Now, if you get some bit of paint that sticks, that's all right. Trust me, it'll come off. But this is just me using a paper towel. I'm not even using the knife at all. Okay, just a paper towel and a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and then this is it. There you go. Clean as a bean. Okay. There you have it. Okay. All right. Very simple. Doesn't take a long time at all. All right. Let's center this thing, and we're gonna take the whoops. We'll center it a little bit better. We'll pull back a little bit. Back. I think that should do. Pop the focus. I think that's centered fairly well, I guess. Hopefully the tape on the back of this thing sticks. We don't know yet. We'll find out. This is not paper. It's gonna fall. I can tell. It's not gonna hold. I think when I use the yeah, I don't think it's gonna hold. Yeah, it's not gonna hold. I gotta probably spray this again with varnish. I gotta varnish my board again so the tape can stick to it. But that's all right. We'll just aim downward like that. That solves that issue. I think that's somewhat centered enough. Let's put the focus on it again one more time. All right, and well, there you go. All right. I didn't mean to have you guys on here this long, but you know, I think we started at 8 o'clock, so it's a little after 10 my time. But here we go. Okay. So, hey, Sugar Plum, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, okay. All right, Bruce. I take it you're going on the trip with the missus, right? But all right. Appreciate you letting me know. Thank you, Travel Dreamer. Well, in whatever you're doing, Bruce, be safe, be careful. And if it's a pleasure cruise, enjoy yourself. Everybody would like to see you come back safe and sound. Yeah, the splitters, they do add to it, I must say. And once again, now you got two different planes, actually three, because you got the first one back there. Okay, then you got the other plane, believe it or not, would be the bird. Then the other plane would be the water in the back. Then you have the other plane, which is the larger wave here in the front, which there is no beginning and end. You're catching it like pretty much in the middle of the wave. All right, you got a whole bunch of wave this way, you got a whole bunch of wave going that way, but you're only getting a snippet right here. All right, and because of the gull, the tip of that wing is in front of the horizon line. Now that gull, instead of being back there with his buddies, he's up in front. All right, but not yet over the wave. The wave is still in front of the gull, but he's close enough. Okay, so that's how that perspective thing kind of works in this more aerial perspective than anything else. There's not excessive shine in the back there. It doesn't need to be. That's not really the focus. It would be this fella foaming up here in front. It's not even the gull. Okay, but the gull helps establish the depth. The only reason why that dark cloud is even back there is pretty much just to separate the orange and the blue. Okay, and then we got our clouds in the back, and even the clouds without this being here, even the clouds are smaller here, but it just expands as it goes towards the darker corners on the side. Okay, it will look a lot different once I take a picture, a photo of this. You got this, all this here. You see, one is wet, and you got all this sparkly stuff because of the light back there is directly hitting on this side. All right, so all right, and you got all sorts of little action and stuff going on here, and it's not totally black. It's blue black going into blue, going into ultramarine green, going into orange, and then the orange white. It's a different type of orange this time. It's not as weak as the cad orange hue. It's just regular cad orange. It's a thicker orange, darker, deeper orange, and so I use that. All right. Okie dokie. Yes, Madonna, you have a good night. Be safe. Sugar Plum Fairy, the RV DJ, Travel Dreamer, all you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate your Bruce. Sticking through and coming in. Miss Southern Belle, thank you very much. I'm trying to see if I got everybody. Marilyn Lynch, of course, God's Blessing of Color Art by Jessica. Thank you very much, keeping me company here and all that good stuff. All right. Let's see if there's anything else I should add. Yes. Of course, I forgot, and that is the signature. Where am I going to put the signature? Gee, I don't know, considering that I just tossed all of my paint. I'm guessing I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. X-Acto knife. So let me scratch in my name here. Yes, I can use an X-Acto knife to scratch in my name. Why not? Bet you never seen anybody use an X-Acto knife to put their name in. But it can be done. And there it is. Okay. There it goes, right there on the side. All right. When all else fails, use an X-Acto knife. No, I don't usually sign on the right corner. I'm a lefty. I usually put it right there on the left. Usually, I never sign it on the because I'm left-handed. Actually, I'm ambidextrous, but I keep it on the left-hand side, right on the corner, if I can. Very rarely will I do it on the right, and it's customary for a right-hander to actually sign on the right side, of course. But I'm not. I'm a lefty, so it goes on the left-hand side. Okay. I mean, some do put it on the opposite side, but it's obviously, I mean, you know, left-handed, left side, right-handed, right side, you know. So, but on certain occasions, depending on what I'm painting, the subject matter, if I have to put it on the right-hand side, then I'll put it on the right-hand side. So, but I guess I'm all right with it. It doesn't look too bad. Once again, anybody can do this painting if you follow what I just done. Okay, especially when it comes to layering your water. Okay, once again, if it was a larger board, it would be even more detailed because I would get to use larger brushes to put in such fine detail. But I'm using tinier brushes to do all of that. But it's all good. Adding in the layers of color for the wave. The tricky part is keeping the flow of the wave. All right. That's really the tricky part that people might get a little weirded out on. Okay. But other than that, you can design waves to look any way you want it to look. Okay. And as you see, I didn't use a full wave. I just used a snippet. Okay. Of a wave. So. Okay, everybody, you have a very good evening. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. And off I go. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.